how can I reach more people with this? Because I truly believe that there are so many people out there that have so many talents and gifts, and they hold themselves back.
I was told my entire life, by the teachers, by coaches, by my partners, my ex-wives, that I'm introvert and I'm socially awkward. When you are told so many times, and I got to this level that I believe it and I become it.
Who you surround yourself with is imperative to your success. The biggest gift I got was my mother. She taught me was like, Julie, you can have anything you want in life as long as you're willing to work for it. Of like, you mean I can do anything? I could have anything? Well, that's awesome.
When you fail, you're not loved, you're not enough, and then then the guilt and blame turns on. So people want to stay in the safety zone.
When I die in 10 years, my children have this asset to take care of them. What is the purpose of me doing this? When you can tuck your ego in a little bit and be committed to what you want, nothing's going to stop you.
We die in comfort.
Absolutely.
Seriously, like comfort is the biggest killer.
I'm telling you, serving is one of the best ways to get yourself out of that funk, because there's always people that have it worse than you.
Welcome to Mastering the Inner World and Outdoor Health podcast. Today I have a Julee Gracey, who is a business coach, keynote speaker, and the author of the book, Highly Confident. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we already started. Julie, welcome. Thank you. We already start talking about the inner voice and, highly confident. But I want to go back to the book. What makes you to write a book?
Thanks for having me here. Yes. Well, because I'd been coaching for many years and I found myself teaching the same thing over and over and over, repeating myself with almost every single entrepreneur that I work with, whether it was a multi-million-dollar CEO or someone starting a business from scratch. It was the same process. It was the same teaching. And I thought, well, how can I reach more people with this? Because I truly believe that there are so many people out there that have so many talents and gifts, and they hold themselves back. And they're just waiting for permission that's never going to come to actually step forward into who they want to be. And they just wait, and they just wait. And so I wrote Highly Confident for not only all the lessons that I have personally learned over my years, but the things that I teach that I've seen real results in people's lives, and just want to be able to get it in more hands.
Okay. Go into the voice, high confident, because I was always, and we already talked a little bit before the podcast, so I was told my entire life by, maybe not by parents, by the teachers, by coaches, by my partners, my ex-wives, that I'm introvert and I'm socially awkward. When you are told so many times, then not only those people told me that, but then what happened is when I was alone with my own inner thoughts, then I keep repeating myself. And I got to this level that I believe it and I become it. How do we become, because confidence it's I'm not saying it's everything, but it's a big part of a success.
Absolutely.
Because when I was alone, when I was like, when I have to be kind of quiet, it was like, hey, I was put back and it was, hey, I was in my safe space. I put a poker mask. That's it. That's how I feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But when I need to go and fight, nobody could stop me. How do you get back? Like if the spark, like, you know what I mean? Because it's hard. It's hard to become confident when you kind of like in the energy of blame and shame and you're kind of hiding.
Absolutely. Well, and we know this. It's who you surround yourself with is imperative to your success. Mm-hmm. Because just like you said, they told you, oh, you're an introvert. Oh, these things. Yeah, they're going to keep telling you those things. What if you surrounded yourself with people that spoke life into you and said, hey, like, you're amazing. You're actually really good at this. Like, that is so important. And I was lucky enough. I mean, obviously, we don't get to choose our parents. And I believe it was the biggest gift I got was my mother, who just spoke life into me. Now, don't get me wrong. She wasn't like, oh, everything you do is perfect. She was one tough mother. She was immigrant from Canada. I'm firstborn American, and very much of like, you suck it up and you can make it happen. So I remember specifically one thing she taught me was like, Julie, you can have anything you want in life as long as you're willing to work for it. And I believed her. Of like, you mean I can do anything? I could have anything? Well, that's awesome. I just have to work for it. Well, I grew up on a farm. I know hard work. And so that's what I believed her and went after it, and then building the confidence. So when you are going after something and you learn to fail, right? Mm-hmm. And I always say farm life is a tough life. You fail often, and there's nobody coming to rescue you. There's no one coming to save you. The cows get out. Guess what? You got to get those big back into nobody's coming to do it for you. So you fail and you're scared, but you act anyway. And that's how, as a young age, I built confidence, because I knew how to fail and not take it personally, like, oh, wow, I'm not worthy. There's no time for that, right?
You said before we start recording, you said that you always have the voice, that you talk too much, that you open and it's just like you loud, but a lot of people don't have that. They have the other voice.
Yeah, well, and especially women.
But I love how you switched it. You're like, okay, I know, like people were like, you talk too much, but you use this as a gift. I was like, okay, I'm gonna freaking use it.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't always like that. I'll tell you, it wasn't always like that. It was when you're young and, like you said, people are telling you who you are. You're young and I talk too much. Okay, let me be quiet. Okay. You're too loud, Julie. You attract too much attention. I got that one a lot too. I wasn't trying to attract attention. I was just being me. So then I learned being me is wrong. Being me is, okay, so how do I step back from being myself?
And then what happened?
And then you move away. You get out of, you talk about how do you build confidence? You get out of the bubble you're in. When I graduated high school, I took off for Arizona and started working and started modeling, something I'd always wanted to do. And so I started working with an agency and really started going after what I wanted. And like, oh, they want me to speak up. They want me to step in front of the camera and bring my full energy. And it was rewarded. And so, yeah, there's times when I was younger where I had to kind of limit myself. I was in high school. We've all been there. When I would show up in baggy jeans and with my brother's old t-shirts and my hair barely brushed, none of the girls had a problem with me. But God forbid that I put on a cute dress and one day did my hair and makeup and they were vicious. And I didn't understand why. This is how naive I was. I didn't understand why. I thought I was doing something wrong. I must have done something wrong. But I learned that if I just wore baggy jeans and oversized t-shirts, all the girls were nice to me. I was so innocent. I had no clue. But going forward is you start to step into who you are, right? Julie, you're too loud. You attract too much attention. Okay, well, what if I turn that? I'm loud. I talk a lot. I get a lot of attention. Where is that a benefit? Where can I use that in life? Well, sales. I was really good at sales and I got to be me. I love talking with people. I love connecting. Perfect. Sales. And I make a lot of freaking money doing it. Then I went to work in TV. That is absolutely speaking up and speaking on camera. I'm like, this is fantastic. Right? So a lot of times where people are putting us down, how do we flip that and say, well, you. Simply.
But how do you get the awareness, the consciousness level that you want to use this as a gift? Because a lot of people, that are listening right now, they are stuck. They don't see it that way. They see this as a negative. How do you switch it? Because it's like, I know, like I already been, talking to you for a few minutes, so I see you have a positive mindset. I get that. But if somebody, that positivity, because I personally believe, you have to have a positive mindset to be confident. You know what I mean? You cannot be negative and confident, like those two doesn't go together. But how do you switch it? Like somebody who's listening right now, how do you switch that? How do you switch the switch?
Well, I would say immediately, like we talked about, who are you surrounding yourself with? Because I guarantee you're surrounded with people that are bringing you down. So changing your environment, changing who you're around. And a lot of people say, well, I live in this town. I can't. Okay, well then online. Can you go to summits? Can you go to masterminds? Who can you go surround yourself with? Because I assure you, when you have someone like myself that I'm like, oh, my goal is $1 million of this. But then you go into a room and they're like, your minimum should be 100 million. You're like, whoa, what? Yeah, actually, someone that's going to speak more faith into you, right? Because someone around you, you have to start to distance yourself that are negative, that bring you down, that doubt you, right? And a lot of times it's the people that are closest to us that actually put the doubt inside of us because they mean well, but they're coming from their point of view. And they're speaking to you about how you fit into their lives, who you are for them. And when you change, well, you're changing who you are for them. So they don't like that, right? Wait a minute, I know you as this and this is how you fit into my life, but now you're changing and you're going to go start working out and not going out for beers and shots on Friday. You want to go to the gym, and they get upset because you're changing who you are to them, right? And it makes them doubt themselves. I could go on about this.
Because you bring all the insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
You bring all the securities because like I have a lot of friends and even like I already mentioned this a few times on the podcast. I had a friend that got like 3 DUIs and he stopped drinking and he's got this perfect body and I don't want to be around him because I was still drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And every time he brought, like, I was like looking at him and I was like, you could do it. And I'm still partying. I'm still doing. So he was bringing the insecurity. And then we kind of like, you split apart. And then when I get off the wagon and I started, with the healthy lifestyle and I started looking good, it was like we become friends again. And I told him, you brought all the insecurities to me. Like, I don't want to be around you. Like, you were reminding me that I have all the work, but I need it.
Yes. And that's exactly why when you start to change, people around you get upset.
Okay.
Exactly what you just experienced.
So what do we do with that?
You change your environment, change who you start surrounding yourself with. If you want to be healthy, quit hanging out at the bar, go to the gym. I mean, it's not complicated. I want to grow my wealth. Where can I surround myself with people that are wealthy, that not just are wealthy and have money, but that are learning to grow? So I actually I was coaching in sales, going off in a total different direction. I was coaching a lot of people in sales and marketing because I was selling real estate and I was really successful at it. Well, I wanted to make it actually a career. Well, I want to actually teach it more. I want to go get certified. I was really successful in sales. So why would I need to get certified? But I knew I wanted to start at the bottom and really put it together. So I went to work for one of the number one sales trainers in the world, right? I was already selling millions of dollars, but then I went down to the lowest level and started in their program of sales and marketing. Learn, like tucking your ego in and saying, maybe there's something I don't know. And I coached for them for 3 years. I became one of their elite coaches, coaching business owners across the globe. And so now, how confident do you think I am in marketing and sales, in growing a business? I mean, I help people go from 0 to a couple million in their first year of business. I know the steps to do that. That's why I'm so confident in doing it. And so there's this thing where you can outwork your fears. So I'm scared I don't know this, then go outwork it.
How do you outwork it? Because it's like people are scared of going against the fear because it's when you fail, you're not loved, you're not enough. And then, then the guilt and blame turns on. So people want to stay in the safety zone. Like, yeah, I'm going to stay on this side, because I don't want to be a failure in the public. So how do you go against the fear?
Well, but there's a difference. Are you a failure or did you fail?
Well, I don't want to make a decision because I'm scared of failure.
Yes. So have a great exercise. It's a decision-making exercise.
Okay.
And it is because I truly believe that the quality of your life is due to the quality of your decisions. So how do you make really good decisions? So I have a framework and it literally asks you one question. And I teach this in a lot of events that I do. And it's called, what if I did? And it's how we can take emotion out of the decision and actually think logically on paper. And we write it down because there's science behind getting it out of your brain and onto paper. Because in your brain is a crazy place. I mean, right now, I'm on a unicorn and I'm riding to the sun. I can go all kinds of places in my brain, but when you write it down, you have to be very logical. It's really hard to overthink on paper. So I have an exercise and it's called, what if I did? What if I did whatever it is that you want to do? What if I did leave my spouse? What if I did apply for that job? Okay, then what are the cons? What is holding you back? Well, and you get really detailed. Well, I'm afraid I'll look stupid. I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, write all those down. You got them all out. Doesn't matter what the excuse is. We're not judging ourselves. Okay, now let's go over to the pros. What are all the possibilities? Well, if I took that job, I might get paid double what I'm getting paid now. I could get a raise. I could eventually be president of the company. Like I could buy a new house. I could pay off those debts. I could take my wife on a vacation that she deserves. I could actually hire a trainer and get rid of this dad bod I got going on. All the pros. Okay, then look at them. Now we're going to go back to the cons. Now we're going to look at the solutions. Well, I might feel stupid. Okay. Have you ever felt stupid about something and then you're still here, right? Yeah, you felt stupid. Do you remember the things you felt stupid about? Do you still feel stupid about them? Well, no. Okay, so you think you'll be okay? Yeah. All right, well, what's the next thing? And you literally go through. And the question I like to ask is that 100% true? Like, I don't think I'm ready. Okay, break it down. Why aren't you ready? Well, I don't really know about this. Can you go learn about this?
I think this is the most common. Like people are not ready. People are not ready to have kids. Like, people are not ready to buy first car, first business, or buy first real estate building.
Well,
I'm
that's
talking
why
to you, both of you. Buy apartment building.
Yeah, you need to do the exercise.
Look at they smiling.
Yeah, what if I did? You're going to do
Why
this
are you
exercise.
not writing? You should write this down, man.
Yeah,
Right
we're going to
now.
go through your exercise. What if I bought that apartment building? Okay,
Yeah.
what are the cons? What are
Yeah.
you scared of? Where are your worries and concerns? Then what if I did? What could be the positives, right? When I die in 10 years, my children have this asset to take care of them. What is the purpose of me doing this? And then you go through your cons. Okay, well, I could lose money. Well, how do I try to prevent that? Have I lost money before? Yes. Okay, well, how could I try to circumvent that? And then you have 24 hours to take your first action. And it's something small. It's not something big. Maybe it's a phone call. Because one action, there's dopamine that goes to your brain like there's a quick win. You have 24 hours to take one action. And then you'll see. I've had people come to me. One of the best ones was a woman who, she'd always dreamt of being a pilot. I was speaking at an event. We did this exercise and she messaged me and she says, Julie, I've never told anyone. In fact, I'm shaking because I actually wrote it down. I've never even written it down. Allowed myself to think it was possible that I want to be a pilot. And then she wrote the pros and cons. She had to take one action. She's in pilot school right now. And this is something she's held on to for 10 years. Never told anyone. She just didn't think it was possible. When you walk through it, you take the emotion out, you walk through, you're like, oh, I can do step 1, I can do step 2, I can do step 3. Right? It's like setting your GPS. I had to come to the studio. If I just got in the car, started driving, I probably would have ended up in Miami or Key West or I don't know, Hialeah, something, I have to, where do I want to go? And then what are the steps to get there? I have to turn here. I have to turn left. I have to make a right. You just put a plan together and there's no emotion in it. It's the emotion of it that's holding you back. When you take that out and just think logically, it's not that complicated.
When you start like changing your lifestyle, let's say leaving the bubble or leaving like somewhere, your family or because you were raised and you were programmed by your family values and rules, and then suddenly that becomes it, right? And then you're leaving and you're going to the another bubble, right? You're leaving, right? Let's say college or anything. You don't know anything. There is a gap before you can connect with the right people, and because you got to do the work on yourself. How do you survive the gap? Because it's like suddenly you don't know anything about it, and yes, you don't want to sound stupid. It's a big fear, but you're not ready because you don't know shit about it. So how do you survive the gap between one bubble, or I call one metrics, and the other to expand your bubble? How do you kind of make the gap smaller, smoother, and easier to go through?
That is actually a great question. I actually write about this in my book because I call it the lonely road.
Yeah.
It is lonely. And this is one thing they don't talk about, especially in entrepreneurship, or when you're trying to go from one area to another to become better in something. You're leaving this comfort zone. And I see this a lot with women, specifically in relationships. Mm-hmm. They want to leave and go move forward. But as they leave, they make the jump and they start to move forward. There's this gap. There's this lonely road, right? And probably with men too, of like, oh, and guess what they do? It's gray. I call it like a gray, foggy area. You're supposed to be moving forward, but you don't really see where you're going. You're not really with the people that you aspire to be with yet. Mm-hmm. And so what's your safe zone? Run right back to where your comfort zone is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go back to the relationship that didn't work. You go back to the job that didn't work. You go back to that safety.
And then you have a validation. I tried it. No, you didn't.
Yes. I tried. No. You didn't. You didn't commit. There's a difference between trying and committing.
Where's the difference?
Okay, example. My daughter, let's say she's sick. 30 days, she's no longer going to be with us. I need to raise $100,000 to get this vial of medication. Do you think I'm going to do that? Hell yeah, I am. I'm not going to try to go find $100,000. I am committed to getting $100,000 because I'm going to get that. Does that make sense? When you go after your business, your real estate, your whatever it is you're going after, we don't try because the first time you try, something comes up, there's a bump in the road, you're going to go back to where you were and been like, oh, well, I tried. And you're right. They're going to feel validated that I tried it. Commitment is something different. I am committed to my husband. I might want to smother him in his sleep sometimes, but I am committed. He is mine and I am his, and we are in it to win it. I win in my marriage. Same thing with business. So before you make a business decision, is this something I want to try or am I committed to doing this? If you're committed, nothing's going to stop you. Whatever questions you have, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find the answer. I don't know the answer. I'm going to tuck my ego in a little bit, which can be hard, especially for my men. I'm going to tuck my ego in a little bit and I'm going to go find someone that can help me in this area. I don't know how to do this. Or I'm not sure about this. I believe that I should be sure in this area, but I'm really not. Can you say those words? When you can tuck your ego in a little bit and be committed to what you want, nothing's going to stop you.
Whatever, ego will always stop you.
Well, look at me. Ego is good in many ways. Your ego is also what gets you in and be like, hey, I'm showing up here. I'm freaking badass.
Yeah.
That's my ego. But the ego can be the opposite of like, I'm so smart, I'm better, and I don't need to talk to anyone. I'm going to go invest in all these buildings, even though I don't really know what I'm doing. You're just setting yourself up for failure there, right? And ego can also be where I stop listening to, like, I know this, and I stop listening. That's what I said when I was in sales. I was doing really well in sales. Everyone's like, well, why are you going to go through the sales training program? Because I want to be sure. I want to be sure. I'm not so sold like I am the best. Once you hear yourself like I know this, I'm so good. Okay, maybe you are, but not being afraid to check yourself and say, what don't I know? I just believe we can always be learning.
A lot of times, like even when I do the podcast for learning.
Pardon?
I want to learn. I do the podcast, like I do all this stuff. I'm learning all the time. I never stop.
Yes.
And that's what, like, even in sales, like, you think you're the shit, but the second you start learning, you're like, holy shit, I've stopped doing this like 10 years ago. I stopped doing this. It's just, we go on autopilot and we forget.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly when we go on autopilot, and then boom, there's a big drop if we don't grow. And then when we start giving and start teaching or even like share the wisdom, because, God put us on this earth to serve, we're not entitled to shit. And then suddenly, like, our knowledge, our wisdom, and our skill get sharpened on daily basis. You know what I mean? So that's why I love it. But because in order to be confident, I'm keep going to this word because for me, you see, like, both of our books are next to each other. Mine is not enoughness because I have the voice of not enough. It doesn't matter what I've done. It was never, ever enough until I figured out I'm enough. So all this shit, all the title, all the medals, all the successes, all the money, all the shit, it was never be enough. In order to be self-confident, it's got to come from within.
Absolutely.
How you train it, how you train this voice, how you train this inner dialogue, because it's truly, the stuff is, it's the inner role that nothing can stop me. Like there's no rooms I can walk in. I don't belong here. They don't belong here. I belong here. You know what I mean? And I'm delusionally optimistic and confident. You know what I mean? If somebody heard my inner dialogue when I walked into rooms, it's like, this something wrong with him. You know what I mean? But even I come into the room with a different energy.
See, I would be like, hell yeah. That's the difference. If you come in with that energy, I'd be like, yeah, bring it. Yes, bring it. You should come in like that. You should be your biggest cheerleader.
But that's years. How do you, there's when you're 13 years old, 15 years old, there was some shit that was taken away from us. And a lot of people are missing it. And I was
absolutely
missing it. How do you just train the inner voice, the inner dialogue?
It's definitely takes practice. It definitely takes practice. It's not like one day, okay, I'm going to be confident. That doesn't happen. I've never seen that. It is a practice of how do you build that confidence? Well, it's trusting yourself keeping promises to yourself, right? And you know this. I am with me 100% of the time. So if I don't like me, that's a really shitty life, right? So how do I like me? Okay, I do. And it's not just liking me for the things that I think that I do well, but loving myself for the things where I don't do well, right? It's like you can't just you can't take all your wins. You have to also claim your losses. So with yourself, what don't you like about yourself? Is that something that I can change or I'm willing to change? Or can I accept it with myself? And so I say this, we talked about relationships before we started this too, and this goes for yourself. I love my husband for exactly who he is. Not who I think he can be, not for his potential, not for just the good things about him, and I just don't look at the bad things or the things that I think are bad, but appreciate and love that person for exactly who they are. The quirks, the things that drive you crazy, and you're just like, yep, that's him.
It's funny,
because I want that for me. I want him to love me. That's the whole point. I want him to love me for all the good things, but for the things where I'm not great and my things that are not good, that I know that he loves me and shows kindness to me during those moments too. So how can I expect that if I'm not giving that?
It's funny you said this. You just gave guys gave a perfect definition of unconditional love. The word is scrubbed so much in this day and age because we are learned to give love, as a transaction. But the unconditional love comes from within. It's really the love you have for you, then you can give it to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now you do this for me, I do this for you. This is a transaction. This is good in a business. It's not good in a relationship, and it's not good relationship with yourself. This is the biggest, this was actually, I love it how you explained it. I was going like, holy shit, you really love yourself. Like unconditionally. I'm calm with the good or bad. You know what I mean? And it was like, and there's no sugarcoat. It's like, I know what I'm sucking at.
Yeah, no, I suck at a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm bad at a lot of things. Trust me, I know. But you know what? There's no perfect. I get up every day. Am I trying to be the best version of myself? And some days I'm like, well, we are not going to be the best version of ourselves today. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then how do I show some kindness to myself and being willing and those communication of being like, you know what, hun? I am not the best version of myself today. So I apologize. I'm super grumpy. That's just how it's going to be. And he has kindness to me of okay, how can I best support you? That's it. And we're just so hard on ourselves. Or when he makes a mistake or he's tired and he'll say something that was unkind, rarely happens, of not being attack him right back, of being and I'll just literally stop and be like, okay, anything else? Do you need food? Do you need to eat? Having the emotional intelligence to not take it personally. Okay, this is not who he normally is. He's in a moment. How can I best support him? Okay, babe, right now, you're in a moment and I get it. I've been there. I want to know, can I feed you? Can I support you? What can I do? Because right now I need to probably end this conversation. Are you hungry? And then I like to do a little bit of humor sometimes when I can, because it kind of breaks can I feed you? He'll be like, no. I'm like, are you sure? Do you need a massage? What do you need? Because right now you're being evil. And he'll kind of laugh. And how do I break this tension? Because I love this person in front of me. I love him. And this is me trying to show kindness of woo. And that is a practice. I was not always like that, right? But I understand that, and the motto that I have for my husband and I, it's you and me against the world. So we never attack each other personally. I'm not like, you did this and you're always like that. Absolutely not. It's here, this glass, that's the problem. We're in a disagreement. You and I are going to look at this problem and we're going to fight this problem together because we don't fight against each other. It's fighting against ourselves, right? And it's like that again in business as well, of when you're doing business transactions, how do I have the emotional intelligence not to attack that person, but saying, hey, how do we go after this problem in this transaction? And I think that's why I was really good in sales very quickly, because I didn't go after this person. Oh, this person's awful to do this transaction with. No, stop it. Yeah, maybe they are a dumbass, but you have to fix the problem. You're not going to fix the person, right? You're not going to fix the person. So how do we go after this problem? How do I negotiate in a way that I can get this person to do what I want to do, right? And so that takes practice, but that's emotional intelligence. And in fact, I highly encourage people to read about what emotional intelligence is.
I was going to ask you my question. I just wrote a question. What's your definition of emotional intelligence?
Yeah,
because everybody's got different ones. So
exactly. Well, and everybody has experienced it differently. I had great parents, but I also experienced someone coming into my home as a kid and causing chaos, emotions flying high, things being said. And I witnessed that as a kid, and it was always like, why are they so dramatic? Why can't they be calm? Why can't they control their emotions? And so I saw it from a young age. Wars, emotions, religious fights, emotions. It's when you really break it down to logic, we would have many less problems, but everything is so emotion-based in our actions. And so for me as a kid, I just learned if I just set those emotions aside and just look at the facts, I was able to accomplish more. And so for me, emotional intelligence is being able to feel the emotions in the room. I see that you're sad, but I don't need to also be sad. It's having that empathy, not necessarily sympathy. I do that a lot with coaching. I get a lot of clients and they're struggling. They're deep in the mud. They're in debt. They're overweight. They're unhappy in their marriage. They're trying to build this business. And I'm like, I don't feel sorry for you. You created this. You got yourself stuck in this mud. I'm going to sit here on the side and I'm with you. The good thing is you're not alone. You are going to have to dig through the shit to get yourself out. I'm going to be here to guide you and support you, but I'm not getting in the mud with you. And so for me, that is how can we have that emotional intelligence to, manage our emotions, not let them take over the situation, because that's, to me, when a lot of bad things happen. Or, when to let those emotions out. For me, that's on good things, birthdays, celebrations, trips, family, love. But when it's these negative emotions, that's where I've learned to pause them, because it's not going to help you. And to me, it's a practice.
I use my awareness I know which emotions are coming and where to use them and how to use them and use them to my advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have teenage daughters. Okay. So one thing that I always did, teenage daughters, you have daughters, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And this is something before I would teach them, honey, when you get emotional, because these are teenage girls, first of all, we're going to go through the checklist. Before you unleash your emotions into the world on everybody else, and this is good for everyone, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Did you sleep well last night? No, I didn't sleep well. I only slept 3 hours. Okay, so you might be a little bit on edge. You might be a little testy today. Keep that in mind. That's not anybody else's problem. That's your problem. Have you eaten? Are your blood sugars have dropped? Are you hungry? Maybe you should get yourself a snack, because sometimes we all get hangry. I get hangry. My family knows that, feed me, because otherwise I get evil.
I didn't know the word exists until my daughters explained it to me.
Yep.
That is a word.
Especially women.
I get it.
Yes. So when you check yourself, I'm a female. Is this a special time of the month? Okay, then maybe I'm going to be a little more emotional than I normally would be. So we do that. Check yourself before you go vomit your emotions on other people. And so if we can all have some self-awareness to say, oh, I'm a little on edge today. I'm a little bit short with people. Okay. Yeah, I didn't sleep well. You know what? I actually skipped breakfast. I worked all morning. I haven't even eaten. Okay, maybe I should go feed myself before I have that next meeting. And I do this with my husband too. Sometimes he works from home and I'll hear him in there and he's just ripping somebody. And I will just sneak in his office and bring him a snack. I'm like, you need to eat because it's true. And then, and it kind of breaks his focus and being aware of yourself, and again, there was a point I was going to make with that. But going back to the emotions you're putting out there, being aware of your emotional intelligence of oh, this isn't a problem. I'm just a grouch today, right? Some self-awareness is key.
Yeah. If it's because people who comes like to emotional intelligence, a lot of people don't know how to use it. That's the one thing, them acting with emotions. But how do you get from your like the people that you're talking to, when people get stuck in the victim mode and they blame the whole world? How do you make the switch that it's at the end of the day, because we create our own world. It's and we create our own reality.
Absolutely.
That doesn't matter what you do. How do you bring them, like, wake them up? Like,
You're not going to wake everybody up. Some people, I truly believe, and I've coached
people
this.
come to you, you're coaching them, and
Yes,
they're like,
I'm coaching them, and some of them are stuck, and they are so validated in their victim mentality that I'm teaching them the same thing. I'm going through the same steps. I'm showing them the exact path, like I show them, here are all the steps to go where you want to go. But they just have found so much validation for so long in that victim. They get the attention in that. I'm never going to be able to pull them out of the mud. They're going to stay there because it's comfortable there. They find like that's where I get my attention.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question.
Yeah.
People use the pain, they have the previous pain as their foundation. And the pain is causing them in the victim mentality. And you listening, just let the shit go. But they can, because that becomes their identity. So how do we switch the identity? Like, somebody's listening right now and it's like, shit, I'm stuck. Oh, my parents got divorced. My ex did this to me. My kids this is like, I went bankrupt because of trauma, or because shut up.
Yeah.
But how do you switch because you can't, like, hear what happens when I got stuck in my own story and I want to take my own life. There's nobody out there could convince me. And I was like, it was like knocking on the wall. It's like, that's what I'm asking. Like, how do you get through?
Yeah, I mean, your situation was very serious because you were at such a low point. And yes, you need help. You need help. And people, a lot of times, especially my men, well, I'm going to do it on my own. It's tucking that ego, getting help. Absolutely getting help. And I'm glad that in today's environment, that's much more common than it used to be years ago. Because I'll tell you, and I'm sure you know the statistic is, especially white men, they're the number one people to commit suicide because they don't get help. And are you Polish?
Yeah.
Okay. So 80% of suicides in the United States are white males. It's 85% in Poland. It's even more so. And you think, why? Why is that? They don't ask for help. And in the environment that we've had in the last years of like, men, you're doing it wrong. I mean, I know I'm going down a path here, but I just think it's such a horrible message for men. And nowhere, like, I was raised to be a strong, independent woman, but nowhere was that message also, men are terrible. Men should, like, women are better than men. Who created that? That's a terrible message to send to our young men.
But the message is that we have to earn love.
Well, in what way? We all need to earn love, but are you a person that's worthy?
Do we? We just talk about unconditional love. Do we have to earn love?
Well, if my husband was horrible to me and he beat me and he was, mean to our children and emotionally abused us, yes, I would leave. So yes, he has to earn it by showing up as a good man. But we need good men. We need men for sure. Just like men, you need women. Like, this is not complicated. I mean, I was driving here. There's construction out there. And I'm telling you, every time and maybe because I worked in construction, I drive past these sites and I see these men are out there like with sledgehammers, busting up concrete, digging in the ditches. And every time I go by, I say like this little prayer. I'm like, please keep them safe. Thank you, Lord, thank you for men. Thank you. I love when I go and a man opens the door. The chivalry is not dead, please. We need our strong men. We need to support them and allow them to be men. My husband is definitely a man. He's loud and he loves his sports and he eats more than I feel like most people should eat. And he's tall and he's fit and he's muscular, and God bless him. God bless my husband. I need him to be a man. I don't want him to be a woman. And we need to support our men. Yes, you get to be a man, please. Now, Obviously, some of this came from how many years ago when women didn't have rights, we couldn't even get a loan without a man signing a signature for us. Okay, yes. But those days have passed. We now can. We have the same rights. So just going on that message of, do we need to earn love? Yeah, but in certain ways. But yes, my love for my husband is unconditional to a point. To a point. No, I'm not going to stay with someone that would be abusive or anything in any way. So, but yes, he's not going to. But there was a point we were making with that. Here's the thing. When we're talking about growing ourselves of who we want to be, is these are all the things I want in a partner. But if he came to me today, would I be all the things he would want? So we talk about loving ourselves, learning to have a good relationship with ourselves. And am I the best version of me so that when I meet that person that I want to meet in my future, am I who he would want? And I always did that before I met my husband. I didn't realize it, but I had this list of, this is what I would want to have in a man. But would he want me? Well, if I'm out partying and drinking, I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not working toward a better future for myself, like, become the person that the other person would want to be with. And as soon as I started on that path, bam.
But right there, people don't want to take the steps because that's exactly what we're talking about. You call the lonely world, the world that for a period of time. And sometimes for somebody can take 6 months, for the other person can take 5 years.
Yes.
Is the self-improvement, the self-work, to work on being you. Because, we've been taught by society and by parents, coaches, whatever, everybody else, who you want to be. But we never ask ourselves, who do I want to be?
That is so true, because we are reactive instead of intentional.
Yeah.
We're reacting to the world. Well, you said I'm this and they said I'm this, and I'm reacting instead of being intentional about what I want. Trust me, I was a poor farm girl from the middle of the Midwest, and I wanted to model. And when I would tell people, my small group of friends, I want to model one day and walk runways, I was told I was selfish. I was conceited. And so I learned to get real quiet. But I still had that. And, luckily I was able to share with my mom, and she was like, okay, Mom, I want to move to LA and I want to go model. And she just taught me this exact process of, ask yourself, what if I did? What do you need to do? And I talk about this in the book of, I literally went from a farm girl in the middle of nowhere in Southern Illinois to walking runways, to being on a #1 TV show, Deal or No Deal, to walking runways in Milan. And how did I do that? I just went through the process. Was it lonely? Yes, because there was no one around me that lived the life that I had or wanted to do the things I did. But I knew that was something that I wanted to do. And okay, how can I reach out to a group of models? When I moved to LA, okay, here was a group. I had my agency, and I would surround myself with people that were in that same industry, right? Because that was normal. Like, you create your normal, kind of like you create your life. You create your normal. What's normal for you is not normal for me or anyone else here. You get to create it. That's the cool part. What do I want it to look like?
But how do we become our own script writer, our own, it's my journey. And it's nobody else's journey, okay? But how do I become, I'm always, that's why I meditate so much. I pray, I do all the work, because, just always, God, tell me what I don't know yet. I want to go somewhere, and I have no idea where I want to go. It's like a journey,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I do want to help, I want to stop the suicide. I want to bring the awareness to the mental health,
Yes.
especially, I'm Polish, but the suicidal rate is huge. Last year we have over 700,000 people commit suicide. This year, the first week of January, we got, I think we posted yesterday, 22,000 people commit suicide. So and the reason we have so much depression and suicide, because people don't find the happiness within. You know what I mean? They're looking for the outside. And I always want to write my own journey, my better story, better and better and better. But I run to a lot of people that's my story, it's I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? And I always tell them, go tell your story to somebody else. And they're a few months later, they go to me, what the fuck? I thought my story is bad, but you don't know what happened to this person. And it's just the wake up call. How do we wake, people that are going through depression and unhappiness and just they stuck in the cycle and become the reality because they've been in it for 2, 3, or 5 years? How do we wake up the giant within them?
I love that you just said that, because that's one thing that I recommend, and not just for me, but psychologists, therapists, they say, go surf. Go surf.
Go surf. Did you hear that? Go surf.
Because who are you thinking about? You.
You.
Your focus is on you, and I kind of call it out. You're being really selfish right now. All me, poor me, I have this, me. You're only thinking about you. So go surf. And I'll tell you, I did this. I delivered meals for Meals on Wheels. And I thought that I had issues. Oh, I need to get this for the house and this problem. And your life happens. And I knew I wanted to serve. And so I was like, okay, if I can just I had smaller kids at home at the time, just once a month, I want to go and deliver meals. I really love to give back. How can I do that? Well, that would be easy. It's a few hours a day. The kids are in school. So I went with a woman who had a route so I could learn the route for myself. And we take the meal, you go knock on the door and you hand the meal. And it was one of the most humbling things I ever did. Here I am rolling up in an Escalade with my casual, but still super expensive wardrobe, handing this person, a $2 pre-cooked meal. And as they open the door, they don't have any heat in their house on. I literally watch cockroaches run across the floor behind them. And I'm handing them this meal. And I have this one gentleman, his eyes were so piercing blue. Every time I talk about this, I try not to get emotional because I can still see his eyes. And I was handed it to him, and you smile, how are you doing? Here's your meal. Do you need anything? And he was just like, this is the best part of my day. And I was like, okay. And I literally turned, and the tears are streaming down my face. And and then I went back in the car with her, and I was like, we have to do more. We have to do more. Like, he doesn't even have heat on. And she was like, hold on, you are doing something. Every day he gets checked on. He gets a hot meal. You can't save the world, but what you just did was actually very powerful. And I was and wiped my tears. The next house, the same thing, sobbing. I was like, oh my gosh. And I went home and I just literally on my knees and I apologized to God. I was just like, I am so self-centered right now. I'm so worried about me and my problems. And like, this is like, I'm telling you, serving is one of the best ways to get yourself out of that funk, because there's always people that have it worse than you.
We're not entitled to anything. Seriously. We're not entitled to anything.
Yeah. And so that for me was just like, I always want to serve. I never want to get so disconnected from certain parts of reality of life for people. But serving, when you're just like me. And even when we are here and we're in our lives and I get so stuck on something, I'll reach out to my group, to the people that I coach. Hey, who needs me? I'm available the next 30 minutes. Who wants to jump on a quick call? And they're all scrambling. Yes, Julie, help me. Okay. And I'm telling you, as soon as I'm like, I serve, I walk you through something, it's a little bit self-serving because I feel better. Exactly. I just helped them, but I feel so much better because I got out of the focus on me, right?
The more you give, the more you get back. And when you give without expectations, then, the gratitude comes back,
Yeah, and gratitude. That's one of the practices I have. It's like essential, daily gratitude, and write it down. I'm a big thing on writing things down. Write it down. What are you grateful for? Not just like, okay, I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful, to breathe. Specific. Before I even get out of bed, I go through what I'm grateful for. And my husband made a joke. He goes, am I the first thing on the list? I said, no. No. I love my bed. And I was like, thank you, Lord, that I have this amazing bed that I get to sleep in, that it's just like, I sleep with like 7 pillows around me. Like little things. Like when you start your day, if you've never done this, start your day, and it can be funny things. Start your day with gratitude, and I promise it will change the trajectory of your day every time.
I agree with that. Before I open my eyes, I pray every morning. Before I even open my eyes, before I go pee, before I move out of my bed, yes. I just go and just do the deep prayer. And whatever you're going through right now, it works. It really does. It works for me. It's enormously. Okay, so we got gratitude, I love service. Service. Change, get out of your bubble, get out of the environment. What else?
Challenge yourself to do more. Challenge yourself to do more. Like, I don't believe that we truly realize what we're capable of. And I've experienced this for myself so many times. A perfect example, I'm a poor farm girl with 2 parents that never graduated high school on a farm in the middle of nowhere. How did I end up walking runways in Milan and being in Malibu with celebrities and like, what kind of life, like, where do you go? Where do you do that? And suddenly I'm selling millions of dollars in real estate and I become a $1 million real estate investor. Like, how does all that connect? And it's that, well, what if I did? You know, that question helps you think through a logical process, but it also is a challenge. And I call it, it's from when we were little, the question of like, what if you won the lottery? You ever asked that question when you were, you know, even now, what would you do? What would you do if you won the lottery? What would you do? It's that same question. What if I did? It's the same concept. Oh, wow. Well, I would do this and I'd buy my mom a house and I would, I don't know, buy a cat sanctuary. But you ask anyone on your team, you ask a child, we all have different versions of what that would look like, right? So what if you just did? I like the girl I coached. What if you did just go start pilot school? What would that look like? Right? It's where can you challenge yourself a little bit? And if it feels a little bit scary, that's when people are like, oh, it must be wrong. No, if it feels uncomfortable, that means you're doing something right. Like I tell my clients when they first come to me, look at me, you're going to be uncomfortable. Because right now you're comfortable. You're in your little spot and this is what I do and you're unhappy. You're not coming to me to stay comfortable. I'm going to challenge you and you're going to be really uncomfortable. And when you feel uncomfortable, you're going to breathe and you're going to sit in it. You're not going to go backwards. You're going to be like, Julie, this is really uncomfortable. I'm like, that's a sign that you're growing, right? Even if you fail at it, you just grew. You know what not to do.
I always say you got to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. That's a great
Seriously.
thing. Yes.
We die in comfort.
Absolutely.
Seriously, like comfort is the biggest killer.
Every time I get really comfortable, it's almost like I'm like, wait, I'm too comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I talk about how like you fight and you fight and fight to get what you want. And it's like, okay, I fought so hard, put my head down. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have this type of house. And one day I looked up and I was like, wait, literally it was like an epiphany. Wait, I have the house I always dreamed of. I have the husband. I have the 2 kids and the dog. And I checked my bank account. Holy shit. I did it all. I'm a millionaire. I remember sitting at my kitchen counter, staring at some laundry. And I was like, oh, so this is what it looks like. I got so much more to do. Like, it was like that. It was for a second. It was like, I did it. I hit the targets. I didn't set my targets nearly big enough. I didn't set them big enough because I got there and it was great. I put my head down and I got there. I was like, oh shoot, I don't want to be a millionaire. Now we got to go for 100 million. Dang it. Like, I thought you hit $1 million, you have the house, the kids, and not that I was ungrateful. I just kind of like you, like there's more. I know there's more I should be doing. What's next? What don't I know? I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. But not everybody's like that. Not everyone is like that.
I can tell you right now, more is less. Seriously. I don't want any of this shit. Really. I want me. I want peace. I want love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My coach once sends me, it's like, go to your beach house and just spend there 3 days without phone. What's wrong with you? Like, dude, I'm unproductive. Like, that is not gonna work. Like, I'm useful. I'm not contributing to society. Like, I'm a loser who's doing like that. I love to be like completely with myself, with my soul, with my heart, just going deep. And it's like, holy shit. So I worked that hard for something that I had all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and probably like you've pushed and pushed and pushed in life to get where you want to go. And for me, I realized one of the struggles was like stopping and appreciating it. it was like, and more. I'm always pushing. I was always fighting for the next thing and learning to, and this has been in the last probably 10 years of stopping and breathing right where we are and appreciating it right where we are. Because I just kept pushing and then wondering why I'm just like a little bit exhausted. And then stopping and be like, oh, shoot, I did all this. We did all this. Okay. I like this. But yeah, kind of like the holidays. I love like literally my phone off. Nope. Can't reach me. Clients trying to, now I'm out. I am out. I'm done. I don't want, and then the peace that comes from that peace, ultimately, what is it that as you make more money and your goals get bigger, it's the peace. And peace only comes if you're willing to set boundaries with people and change your surrounding of people that respect your peace, respect your boundaries. Because anyone that comes and brings chaos, I don't have a lot of female friends that are close to me. I'm very particular. When I go around a group and I hear a female talking poorly about their husband, I'm out. When I see another mother that's sitting there putting down their children, like, trust me, we're moms. Our kids can all be crazy sometimes, but they're literally putting down their children. I'm like, and I'm out. Sometimes that's lonely because I don't have a lot of people to surround myself with. But I would rather be alone.
Because what happens is we protect our energy right now because we know how important it is. And then, then we can serve a lot better when we full, like, our bucket is full. So we don't want the energy goes and taken away from, at least for me, I don't want my energy to be taken away. So for years, I didn't know how to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And now I am selfish. That's it. Sometimes I need to be selfish. Like, nope, it's my time. It's me time. Every day I have a date with Jarek time. Every day. I date myself. It's me. I got to fill out my bucket. And nobody's allowed, nobody's get to my space. And then guess what? When I step out of it, here, take any pieces you want. But now I'm fully charged. My battery is charged.
Yeah, you show up as the best version of you. And so many people don't do that, especially women, but they don't allow themselves the permission to take time for themselves and do that. So I do the same thing. I have time in the afternoons, Sunday afternoons in our house. If there's church in the morning, whatever events, but in the afternoon, it's quiet time. My whole family knows, go to your corner. My husband will typically go up to the theater. He'll watch his sports. My kids, I don't care. Get on your iPad, play your games, go do your things. And I go to my space in the house and I have my cat in my lap and I have my book and I'll usually read, take a little nap, and everybody gets their quiet time. They get their space. And everyone respects that about each other because that's how I am the best version for my husband, for my children. They deserve the best version of me. If I'm the stressed out, even men, I'm the stressed out. I didn't sleep. I'm eating like crap. So I'm waking up the next day without energy. Now I'm, mean to my wife. I'm mean to my kids. And then I'm going to work. And then I'm a grouch at work. Like, how does that continue? Where does that lead? And that takes personal response. You have to take personal responsibility for that. You're causing these problems.
You said the word. It's being intentional about everything we do. Being intentional about your life. I think that's like, wow, that's what it gets us. Like I always watch like where I'm going on autopilot. Shit, here. Okay, this part might get ruined very quickly. When I'm intentional and just be intentional and just that's for me. It helps me enormously. That's why I needed time for myself. Like I really, it's because I neglected myself for so many years. So I'm like, nobody's touching this shit. Like I love myself way too much right now to get anybody into my space when I need the time for myself.
Well, in relationships too, is we always say encourage the behaviors that you want to see. So I love when my husband works out. I like him in shape. I like him taking care of himself. I want him around for a long time. Plus, he looks really good when he works out. So encourage that behavior. I'm not like, oh, you're going to work out again. Like, I need help with this. No, baby, here you go. Would you like me to make you some breakfast afterwards? Absolutely. Yes, let's encourage him working out. I like the benefit of that. So sometimes we stop the behaviors that we actually want. And I talked about this with women working. My husband's a workaholic. Now, do I come home and I complain, you work too late, you work too long? No, I need him out there working. Go get it, babe. Go crush it. He's amazing at what he does. Right? So what's the opposite? He doesn't work enough? And then, yeah, sometimes I feel like we need to stop, be like, oh, he doesn't work enough and he's lazy and we can't afford to pay our bills. And now I have to also leave and go get a high paying job so that like I can make up where he's slacking off. He's sitting around playing video games all day.
Yep.
What do you actually want? Now, what you want is his attention. Okay. Then I okay, I want his attention. Okay. So by the way, I'll be like, babe, Saturday night, you're going to take me to dinner. This is where I want to go. Be ready in the kitchen by 6. And you're going to tell me I'm pretty and take me to dinner. And we're going to have a wonderful night. He'll be like, okay, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Like, I was very intentional. This is what I want. But like, well, he never takes me out. Well, did you tell him you want to go out? Like, I'd never expect my husband to read my mind.
You know, I'm part of a lot of brotherhoods, right? And it's like a lot of brotherhoods are men.
Yes, yes.
You know, because, men, we need to connect.
Yes.
And, well, we all need to connect. And this is like always our biggest concern. It's like, we know everything we do wrong. You told us 1 billion times. I get it, what I do wrong. But please tell me what I do right so I can do more.
Yes. Yes.
Seriously. Look at me, goosebumps. Just tell me.
Yep.
Like, I know what I do wrong. You told me 1 billion times. It's nagging.
It is. And then do you want to come home to that? Do you want to come home to that?
Exactly. Tell me what I do right.
Mm-hmm.
And I will do more.
Yes.
The fucked up shit, I mean, I already know it is what it is. But tell me what I do right so I can do a lot more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Julie, I always finish the podcast, because, I have a lot of people, for me, mental health and depression, suicide is the big. So here's your camera. Anybody who's going through a hard time right now, if you can give any word of advice, any help that can just maybe share it and get it across.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing is we all go through things. And maybe if you're deep in it, maybe you're deep into something, that's not a reason to give up. And I challenge you, especially most of my guys, reach out. Now, this could be a therapist, this could be a buddy, but reach out to someone, right? Because I guarantee, this is what I do know. I know that you have gifts and skills inside of you that the world needs. I truly believe this with every part of my being. I've seen it, I coach it. And there's so much more. The reason you are still here is because there's so much more for you to give. And if we can be of help to you at all, reach out and would love to connect with you.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Julie, tell her where people can find you. We're going to put the link and the book and everything else. So go ahead.
Absolutely. You can go to Highly Confident Book to download my book. The audio book is coming out in a week. So excited. My voice in your ear. How amazing is that? And yes, if you are not feeling confident in any area of your business, your life, this book is going to really make a big difference. It's very logical. It's very straightforward. And you can reach me, obviously, on social media, Julee Gracey, my website, Julee Gracey. Now, my name is spelled different. We know about names of spellings. We'd love to connect.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys, you know what to do. If you like it, share it, send it to somebody, and love life. See you next time.
Thank you for listening. Leave your comments and subscribe for more insights on mastering the inner and outer wealth.